It's time for yet another face-off right here on Car and Bike, and today we are talking MPVs. If you're in the market to buy a 3-row car for your family, which is comfortable and also doesn't cost a bomb, then these two are worthy options in the segment. First, the Kia Carens Clavis, and then we have the Toyota Rumion, which is of course based on the Maruti Suzuki Ertiga. In this video, we're discussing the pros and cons, and in the end, we'll tell you which one suits you more based on your requirements. But before we tell you all of that, if you still haven't subscribed to Car and Bike, please do it right now and also press the bell icon so that we can meet more often and get you the latest from the world of Indian auto industry.
MPVs or multi-purpose vehicles have always been in demand, doesn't matter what segment they are in. The market is full of them, right from the entry-level segment to ultra-luxurious segment. But no other segment gathers this much attention as this one, as cars here offer the right mix of affordability, practicality and features.
Now, dimensions are really important when it comes to MPVs because it's all about space and practicality, and in those terms, the Carens Clavis is the clear winner because it is longer and wider than the Rumion and also has a slightly longer wheelbase. We'll see in the cabin how that translates into actual cabin space. But in terms of design and how it looks, Kia has tried to give you a more attractive proposition. So you see a lot of cladding on the car, you see nice looking skid plates, you see connected DRLs, and all of these lend this car a nice rich look. You also have the X-Line variants which also make the car look sportier. The Rumion, on the other hand, and the Ertiga has always been a very signature MPV design. So it's plain and it's a design you can't go wrong with. So I like how the face looks. It's a nice big grille with a logo housed in between and decent use of chrome as well. Now on the Clavis, depending on the variant, you can get wheel sizes from 15 to 17. And here on the Rumion, it tops at 15 inches on this top V trim also. The rear is quite likable on both the MPVs, with the Rumion getting split tail lamps while the Clavis gets connected tail lamps. So overall, if you talk about the design, it is of course the Clavis that looks more modern and up to date. The Rumion as well as the Ertiga, I feel now it's time to get them a facelift to give them a more modern look. But what's your take on the design of both these MPVs? Let us know in the comments below.
HTE EX, the top Clavis variant with a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated engine, also gets star map LED DRLs but comes with 15-inch glossy black alloy wheels. The high variants in the Rumion get machined alloys, chrome door handles and a rear wiper. So take your pick. Now let's get inside the cabins of both these MPVs.
Now, after the update the Carens received in 2025 when it became the Kia Carens Clavis, the cabin has gone in for a major upgrade. You feel like you're sitting in a premium car, be it the dashboard, the materials used, the seats as well. It's quite nice and it's welcoming as well. It has these big 12.3-inch screens as a part of a single unit, and they come with a lot of connectivity options, and ease of use is there too. You have a nice Bose sound system, you have a wireless charger, the seats are electric as well as ventilated, and that's a boon in the hot summer which has already now set in the northern part of the country especially. I've always liked this panel that they give on cars from Kia where you can interchange between climate and audio controls. I think it saves space and a cool feature as well. You have a whole lot of charging options too, and of course the Carens Clavis also comes with a big panoramic sunroof. But all this is only in the top variant in which I'm sitting right now, which is the HTX Plus, and that one costs a lot more than what the top variant of the Rumion or the Ertiga will cost you.
The top NA variant also gets features like single pane sunroof, automatic climate control, steering mounted audio controls and an 8-inch touchscreen with rear view camera, so it is decently spec'd.
Now, how's the top variant on the Rumion? Well, you get a 7-inch touchscreen with the connectivity options, wireless and auto and Apple CarPlay, and you also get a part digital, part analog instrument cluster. So maybe the cabin also needs a sort of revamp now in 2026, but otherwise I like the ergonomics of this cabin. You have a lot of storage options between the seats and in the doors, which is quite nice. Big windows as well, I like that too. And the basic steering mounted controls are there as well on this car. You get fabric seats, which is pretty much what you expect looking at the price of this car. And overall, it's a first row that maybe doesn't feel too premium, but it does the job for which it is made.
Leather wrapped steering wheel with metallic teak wood finish is seen only in this top V variant, and so is cruise control, and PM 2.5 air filter.
I quite like the second row space here on the Rumion. The knee room is nice, so is the legroom, and I like the under-thigh support as well. This seat is quite big. What you get here is a 60-40 split on the second row. There is no captain seat option, there's only bench seats. If you want captain seats with this setup, maybe you can think about the XL6 from Maruti Suzuki, but in the Ertiga and the Rumion, you only get 7 seats. You also have 2 Type-C charging ports here, good storage options as well. And the seats, of course, can recline and slide too to give you more practicality.
The Clavis second row clearly has more to offer when it comes to convenience.
Now, unlike the Rumion, the Clavis gives you options of both captain seats as well as a bench seat on the second row. But remember, if you're buying the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated engine, you will only get bench seats on this MPV as well. But overall feels quite premium. I like the fact that you have your fan controls on the second row as well. And roof mounted AC vents, according to me, work better than when compared to the AC vents that you see on the Rumion, which are placed between the front row seats. On this top variant, you also have features like an air purifier along with this smart tray that can be used as a utility option in the car. There's a Boss mode as well, which is quite a handy feature to have in any car, and you also have sunshades here for a little more privacy in the second row of the Clavis. So once again, depending on the variant, you will get the features on the second row.
When we're talking about a 3-row MPV, how can the last row not be important? So here's the verdict.
Now this is a feature I've always liked on the Carens. This one-touch tumble-down seat is extremely convenient to get into the third row, and I can come here and pull it back. So can't expect a lot of space here, but this is quite decent looking at my height. The seat thigh support is adequate looking at the third row. Maybe the recline could have been a little longer, but I like the angle and the fact that you have adjustable headrests. Also more practical because you have your individual cup holders, C-type charging ports, as well as roof mounted AC vents along with lamps. So spending more time here will be a little more comfortable when compared to the Rumion.
The access to the third row in the Rumion is a little more challenging, but space is not very restricted.
Let's talk about access to the third row in the Rumion. So slide the seat forward, recline it, and then you have the access to the third row. Not very cumbersome. And then you pull the lever and pull the seat back, and this is the kind of space you get here. Now you sit a little higher up in the Rumion in the third row, so not a lot of headroom for me, especially for somebody as tall as me. But otherwise I quite like this space. The seats are quite big. You have your own AC vents as well and adjustable headrests too. So on long journeys, spending time here will not be too challenging.
When it comes to boot space, the Clavis has a slight edge both when it comes to all rows being used and when the last row is folded down. How do the two cars differ from each other when it comes to drivability and safety? Let's find out.
Now the Clavis gets a whole lot of engine options, 2 petrol and 1 diesel to be precise, and one of the petrols is the turbo that I'm driving right now. But if you want to do a like-for-like comparison, there is also the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol because the Rumion also gets a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated mill. So those two cars compare very well. What I'm driving right now is the top of the line HTX Plus version of the 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine. So the power and torque figures of both the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated engines are quite identical, and you won't really find too much of a difference in the way both these cars drive. But the moment you switch to this turbo petrol engine, that is where all the response and the enthusiasm comes in. And even though MPVs are not really associated with pure driving fun, this engine really adds a lot of character to the Clavis. So you are buying a family car, but if you really want to have your me time and just go out on the road alone and put the pedal to the metal, the Clavis will play along. A lot more powerful, and because the Clavis comes with a lot of gearbox options. Yes, the 1.5 litre naturally aspirated will only come with a manual, but here on the turbo you get everything from manual to IMT to DCT, so you have a lot to choose from. And if you're looking for efficiency, you also have the 1.5 litre diesel seen in many other cars from Kia as well. So in terms of portfolio and the range, there is indeed a lot that you can pick from in the Kia Carens.
Even the naturally aspirated engine on the Clavis makes 113 bhp and 144 Nm, which is more when compared to the Rumion.
You also get some driving modes here which sort of let you decide the character of the car, and again something you like as a driver. NVH is one more critical factor, and that is one aspect in which I've been really impressed with the Clavis. Now, the road noise or noise from other external factors is really controlled, and you do get a silent drive in the cabin.
The Rumion gets just one engine option, but it also comes with automatic. And like the Clavis, it gets paddle shifts too.
The Rumion comes with a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol engine, and you have the option of choosing a 5-speed manual or an automatic gearbox on this MPV. Now this engine has proven itself over the years and has come across as a reliable performer when it comes to decent performance as well as fuel efficiency and refinement. And the moment you sit inside the car, you realize that this car does well on all those aspects. Now this engine is known to pull the weight of the car also quite nicely, so it doesn't matter if there are 2 or 3 people sitting inside the car or it's loaded with passengers, it will still carry the weight of the car in a very able manner. What I'm driving is the manual. The gearbox is a bit notchy, the throws are short, so that's something that sort of adds to your drive experience. You don't really mind a setup like that on the Rumion. Refinement, as I said, is good, and the cabin is fairly silent during the drive. Even at high speeds, when you push the throttle hard, you don't get a lot of sound coming inside the cabin, and that also contributes to a better experience in a car that's meant to transport your entire family.
Another important aspect is ground clearance to take on those bad roads or tall speed breakers. The Rumion has 185mm clearance, but the Clavis crucially gives 10mm more.
And driving this turbo engine, you do feel that everything has been tuned according to the needs of this engine. So you're talking about the way the steering responds, and you like that because there's a good bit of feedback you get. It's quite precise as well. The gear shifts are also very good. I'm driving the manual and they're quite notchy, and throws are not very long. Again, something you like as a driver. You also feel that the suspension with this engine is a bit on the stiffer side. I haven't really driven the 1.5 NA engine on the Clavis. Now there I suspect the suspension could be a bit different, a little bit more softer and more similar to the setup you get on the Rumion. Now there's some bit of body roll you can expect in both these cars, so there's not a great deal that separates them when it comes to the dynamics on how they move, especially when you're driving them at higher speeds or changing lanes or taking some quick corners. But in a straight line, I think the Clavis feels a little more stable. It can go at faster speeds while inspiring a little more confidence.
It is evident that when it comes to dynamics, MPVs will come with limitations. So just like the Clavis, even the Rumion has to be driven in a manner which doesn't unsettle the occupants.
What also has worked really well for the Rumion and of course the Ertiga as well is its ride quality, because the suspension is tuned very nicely to take on all sorts of road conditions. So it is able to absorb the bumps and the potholes and the speed breakers, and not a lot of it is felt inside the cabin. Doesn't matter what speeds you're driving at. Some more factors contribute to this being a nice urban vehicle. All our visibility is quite nice, so my front view and my back view are both quite sorted. Even though this car does not get a 360 view camera, which the Clavis does, I'm still able to see all around quite nicely, which contributes to a safer drive. Steering wheel also is quite light, so maneuvering because of these factors is not difficult at all. So I can squeeze my way through traffic wherever the space allows me, or even on the highways when I'm changing lanes, it's quite convenient with this sort of a system around me. Efficiency is of course a critical factor in a segment like this, and I've driven the Rumion for 700 kilometers over the last few days, and consistently the car has given me a number of more than 15 kilometers to a litre, and a lot of it was with a lot of occupants inside this car on the highways in the city, and a mix giving you more than 15 kmpl is quite decent looking at the price point and the segment. It is also the only car of these two which gets a CNG option, so in case you're looking for even higher efficiency, the CNG variant is ready for you to sample and try out in the Rumion.
Toyota though claims more than 20 km per litre, and the CNG efficiency crosses 25 km per kilogram. On the Clavis, you can expect to get around 15 kmpl on both the petrol engines. Talking about safety, both cars have a long list of standard features including 6 airbags, ESP and hill hold assist. TPMS is standard only on the Clavis, while the Rumion gets the feature only at the top.
Of course, you get a lot of standard features on both these MPVs, but what gives the Clavis a real edge is the presence of a whole lot of ADAS functions on the top trim of this MPV. So on clearly marked lanes, especially out on the highways, a lot of these functions come to your aid, and especially in a family vehicle, safety features gather even more importance because they have a far greater job to do.
It also gets disc brakes on all 4 wheels as standard, some things that's missing on the Rumion. Now to the prices. While the Rumion starts at 9.55 lakh rupees, the Clavis starts at a much higher 11.3 lakh rupees. This top NA variant is priced at 12.67 lakh rupees, while the top Rumion manual will cost you 12.39 lakh rupees. This top and feature loaded HTX Plus Turbo DCT is priced at 20,84,000 rupees. All prices ex-showroom.
Now if you look at these top variants, there's almost a 5 lakh rupee difference between the two, and that is quite significant. But the story changes when you look at the top naturally aspirated version of the Carens Clavis, and then the prices are quite similar to the top variant of the Rumion. Features are similar too, but the Clavis does take a lead with things like a sunroof or a digital cluster. You also get a much bigger car in terms of dimensions with some more space. But then again, the Rumion has been a tried and tested model. You get better fuel efficiency here, more importantly, and you also get the CNG variant in this vehicle. So to sum it up, I think how we should approach these two cars is that if you're looking for low variants, then Rumion or Ertiga is the car to choose. But if you can spend more, then you will get a much more premium product with more features with the Carens Clavis. So that's our take on these two MPVs. What's your take? You let us know in the comments below. Which one will you choose? Do let us know. Thank you so much for watching.